Welcome back, everyone, to another Titan Esports interview. This time covering a team from the Divinity League. Two players from Foolzry, Fyth and Foolish. You can see them on your screens. They're waving to you, and we're ready to get this started talking about your participation in the Divinity League, the fantastic season that you guys have had so far. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about your competitive history in Titan in general between the two of you. Have you played in Titan before? What were the results of those seasons, just so people can get a little bit more of a background of you guys?
For me, this is my second ever competitive season. I played, technically third. I subbed on Blue Water Emerald for a little bit about a year ago, and then I played Slash All last split. I ended up going dead last in that. And then this is my second split starting roster for any team.
And for me, this is the first time I played in Titan. I played in Slash All previous split. I was in the Piltover roster, but this time I'm in Zon and in Titan Division. I've played competitive for a little bit while. I took like a 2-year break before this year specifically. But other than that, I played like maybe 2 or 3 splits of Aegis.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, I mean, at least for you, Foolish, I mean, you had the rough season that you said before, but now, first season starting on a roster. Now you're really starting off with a bang, so that's good for you guys. Have any of your teammates played together before? Was there any pre-existing synergy before this team was created?
I think JC and Sprite have played together for quite some time, on and off. I think for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then Rich had subbed with Fyth, so on that Slash All Piltover roster last season. So they played together a little bit. And then I actually didn't play for my own org last split, so I came from the outside. All our synergy was built up. We started scrimming maybe 3 months before Titan started.
Okay, and how did this team now come together? How did you guys get in touch with each other, saying like, hey, let's link up, let's make a team for Divinity? Talk to me a little bit about that process.
Well, for that, it was, I run Fools 5, and JC and Sprite had joined for the Slash All Zon roster. Fyth played in Piltover, as well as Rich, but they both qualified for Divinity and Zon. And then Seraph, who's the manager for Foolzry / Fools 5 Nights, decided, hey, you, and me, get on. We're gonna play.
Yeah, we had tryouts. Mainly, I was looking for a different roster. JC and Sprite were there previously for this specific roster, and then the rest of us just kind of hopped on the ball train.
Nice. And obviously, as we'll get into later, it's worked out really well for you guys. But I want to talk about you two specifically on this team. Fyth, you're the top laner. Foolish, you're the mid laner. What roles would you say that each of you kind of fulfill on the team in terms of how you, if you imagine your team as a puzzle piece, how do each of you fit into that puzzle?
Go ahead, Fyth.
All right. So where I typically fit into the puzzle piece is one of 2 roles. Usually I am the weak side, the person who's off alone on his own little island. Usually I end up pulling a good lead there myself. I play lots of engage and bruisers, split push. So where I fit a lot into that is I will pull a lead myself, where the rest of the team comes together themselves.
Kind of the comedic relief, I guess. I shot call. As far as my play style, I usually try to be a little more lane dominant, but that hasn't been working. I've had a rough few weeks with my play. So mostly it's shot calling, macro calls, making sure everyone's having a good time, laughing, because that's where most of our strength comes from as a full roster, is when everybody's communicating, goofing off a little bit. But that's kind of my role on the team, and just play whatever helps make our comp the best.
And you've had a couple pop-off games, though. I was looking through your guys' matches, and I definitely saw that Fyth. You're playing a lot of you're not necessarily getting a lot of those resources. You're playing to your role quite well. There's games where JC's going crazy. There's games where even Rich is going crazy in the jungle. You as well, Foolish, have had a couple pop-off games. So, you guys have a pretty solid team when it comes to a bunch of different people could pop off at any time. But what would you guys say? You're sitting at 6-0 right now, 12-2 game score, super impressive in Group B. What would you say has been sort of the biggest reason for you guys' success as a whole, as a team? Like, what does Foolzry have over the other teams that is giving you this success?
I mean, for me, I'd have to say it's our team fight communications. When a fight breaks out and we decide, all right, we're gonna take this, we're gonna engage, or they're engaging, all 5 of us are yelling all over each other, saying kill this person, peel, whatever the cause is. It's all 5 of us constantly going, and that's what I think is our strength. A lot of teams have had a hard time competing with our team fighting.
I would also add on a little bit to that. It's not only like how communicative we are or whatnot. We seem to synergize very well. Like, even with our calls and whatnot, I will be doing something and we're all kind of following it, or someone else will be doing something and we're all just kind of like, yeah, we know he's going to do this, so we'll be there in position if he does it, sort of thing.
Nice. And so on top of the fact that, you guys are talking about how you like to play and the communication you have, the synergy you guys have, I also noticed when I took a look at your guys' games, you guys have some pretty sound drafts as well. So do you guys have a coaching staff, or who is really kind of running, who's kind of the quarterback of your team when it comes to what we're picking, or is it kind of just a free-for-all saying, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, let's just throw it together? How does the draft plan work for you guys?
So when it comes to our drafts, that's been me. We do have a coach, Potato. He taught me a lot very early in working with him, but he's been unfortunately very busy. I've been drafting most of the time. It's, a team effort. I'll ask a player when it's their turn to pick, hey, I think we should go this or this, and then they'll give me their feedback, and most of the time I'll go with what they say. Sometimes I have to, tell them no. Sprite really likes Yumi. It's weird.
No, he hates Yumi.
But yeah, it's been me drafting.
Nice. Yeah, but I mean, kudos to you then, because I noticed a lot of your guys' compositions are quite sound, like really well structured. You got frontline, you got engage, at least the ones that I looked at. So I think that was something I noticed. Like, what could be part of the reason, just looking at it myself, why this team could be so successful? That was one of the things I noticed. But you guys have a match now. There's 1 week left between now and playoffs, and that's a match against some of these sports speakers. Have you guys looked at this team at all? What are your thoughts going into the matchup this Monday?
I've seen them do really good things and some really unfortunate things. I haven't looked too much into like actual matchups, what they're gonna pick and stuff like that. But they've popped off and beat teams that I at least thought they were gonna have very little chance against, and they've also lost to teams that I thought they were definitely the favorites to win. So it should be interesting. It depends which version we get from them, and as long as we're all playing our best, because sometimes we have off days too.
Yeah.
You have anything else to add, Fyth, about some of these sports speakers at all, or did he kind of hit the nail on the head?
He kind of hit the nail on the head. We do a lot of drafting and whatnot all together. Today's usually our day we do that, so we were going into that after this.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. So that makes sense then. And, looking ahead now, we talked about your match just now against some of these sports speakers, the next match that you have. We'll look ahead to playoffs, because you guys are already there. You're obviously going to be a playoff team. Which team, looking across not only just your group, but the other groups as well, which team do you think in Titan Divinity will be kind of your biggest challenge here, and do you think you'll meet them in the playoffs?
You got an answer for that one? I know I do.
My answer, honestly, the one who's given us a lot of the most trouble recently has been that FZRY roster. I know we were kind of having a bit of issues. That were one of the 2 teams who took a game off of us. So they played very well. So if they make it in, that would be a good one. I haven't looked too much at that myself, but other than that, just looking at the rosters over there, IG and TFF look to be some pretty strong contestants.
Yeah, those two are my big ones as well for looking across the way, at least. IG's really found their way back into this. They had a rough start, added Draconical. I don't know if they did any other changes, but that was the perfect fit for them. TFF has looked solid. I know that's probably, at least as far as personal matchups go, that's going to be my hardest matchup if we do, and we probably will see them in the playoffs if we do make it to finals.
Will best of fives make it easier or harder for teams to beat you? Because you guys have been unstoppable so far in best of threes. Is it going to make it harder for a team to crack you guys in 5 games, or are you guys going to have a harder time going the whole distance with the 3 games? What do you guys think?
I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say go ahead, Foolish. You got this.
All right. Well, knowing our players and how we do things and drafting for them somewhat, our champ pools across the board are really, really deep, and I try to draft relatively easy to start with, but I know a lot of other players, especially around our plat range, don't have a lot of depth to their pool, so I think best of fives are going to highly favor us. If we end up going down 0-2, I think we'll all be comfortable, mentally strong, and be able to run it back up, reverse sweep if we end up in that spot.
You agree there, Fyth?
I definitely agree. A lot of our players, like I've played with them now for a few months now, and just they have massive champ pools, and they've done multiple different roles and renditions. I think best of fives will definitely favor us because we have a lot of tools to pull from, a lot of ways to win the game.
So before we close out, now that we've kind of talked about your guys' playoff sort of ideas, playoff chances, your next match, obviously Foolzry is a team that is going to be considered to be a contender. A lot of people think that you guys are a team that could win Titan Divinity. I want you guys to put your money where your mouth is right now. Both of you, out of 10, what are the chances of Foolzry winning the Titan Divinity League?
9.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little bit of bias and say 10.
Wow. Okay. Dude, I like that. I like those answers. That's some good stuff right there. I was maybe expecting a little bit of some humbleness there, but no, we like that. You guys are confident, and yeah, that creates some spicy storylines there. So 9 out of 10 for Foolish, 10 out of 10 for Fyth, going over the top. That's awesome. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything I had to ask for you two tonight. I'll give the floor to you guys one more time just to give some shout outs to any teammates, coaches, yada yada. Anyone you want to shout out, I'll leave the floor to you guys.
I mean, shout out to the whole roster. You guys have been playing awesome. Like I tell you, almost every scrim match, whatever it is. Seraph, she did awesome building this roster. She found the right people who all get along, great mentals across the board. Potato taught us a lot before. Like I said, he unfortunately got busy, and it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
How about you,
me, myself, I want to give a shout out, first of all, Mr. Foolish over there. He's been running this team essentially mostly, and his org has been a great place for me, myself. But besides that as well, like this whole roster was kind of put together just on a basis, and it has been one of the best competitive experiences I have had to date. Like I said, I've played before, I've played a few. They have a very good atmosphere around them, and I think that's also part of it, because we are all just a team together.
Good. Well, that's awesome to hear. You guys are having fun. You guys are doing well. And so we'll see. We'll be keeping our eyes on you, or at least I will be keeping my eyes to see how well you do towards playoffs in your next match. And good luck to you guys as you tackle on the rest of the season. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this interview.